What if you could turn a bunch of boring files into a super engaging digital product? Well, today that's exactly what we're going to do. Last week, I went through and created this entire dashboard digital product from some very simple files. And today I'm going to walk you through how I built it live, because the way that this was built actually even surprised me. It was literally push of a button, a few instructions, and bam, this thing was ready to go. And you can see here, this is all based on a training course that you could get with PLR, you can create yourself, you can use Notebook LM, you can create this stuff super fast. Now, going through here, you can see that it even runs on different prompts, worksheets, and the whole 9 yards. It's like an entire ecosystem that helps people build products and get results. And it's all based on one thing. And today, I'm going to show you how to take simple little files and turn them into dashboards that I've been using to sell like hotcakes. This is a training you don't want to miss. So make sure you smash that like button and get ready, because we're going to hop over to the live set. I'm going to fire up all of the programs that I use to make this happen. We're going to walk you through everything from product idea to outline to mind map to a full digital product that you can sell, build, and grow a business from. Yep, we're going to walk you through this live. Come on, let's get started. All right, everyone, welcome to the show. Today what we're doing is we're going to go through and talk about how to turn boring little files into full-on digital products. This is a very straightforward process, and we're going to be using AI to automate the major bulk work. I'm going to show you how to go through and find different things online, research your topic, really understand what a digital product should be about. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use Manus to compile this. Now, this is something that I learned that was kind of interesting. I didn't expect to learn it, but when I was building one of my digital product dashboards, this is something I tested out in Manus and the results were phenomenal. So I thought I'd share that with you here. Now, going through, we're going to look at this. We're going to understand everything in a super fine comb way, thank you, where we go through and understand, okay, what takes something from just like a PDF, a report, and actually turns it into a full-fledged digital product. We're going to go through that. We're going to look at Manus. We're going to look at Notebook LM. We're going to look at Claude. We're going to look at a basic web server, and several other things we'll go through as well. This is super important because if we're able to build this on a server, then we'll have something we can actually use. Much like the dashboard that I showed you in the beginning, where we could go through and see this dashboard actually has all different kinds of things you can do, videos, it has different prompts and tools that pull up within the same dashboard window. It's actually functioning like a full-on product, which is really cool. So this is kind of what we want to look at. And I went through and I actually made it to where you can change and say, okay, my digital product is like how to jump higher. And it'll actually put that in here and use that with all the prompts and everything like that. You'll see it changes it and everything like that. So really cool stuff. Understanding how to build these is next level, because you're going to be able to make something that you can charge more money for. It'll provide more value, and you can even create it for different businesses and trainers and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and do this on 3 different examples. We're going to build these live and show you exactly what's going on. Now, we have a class on Saturday you can check out over at joinmarcus.com that's designed to get you up to speed with AI so that you could do some of the things that we're doing here as well. The first step we want to do is what I call mining for files. We want to get different files, different ideas, and different things in a folder, right? So we're going to go through and we're going to build out a folder on our computer and on our web server and everything like that. So going through here, I'm going to show you what this looks like with different notes that I got from one of my outsourcers who his job is to go through and get notes from different products that we have and different videos and webinars and things like that. So let me see if I can get these here and show you exactly what this will look like. So going through here, you can see I have several different things. I have offer class part 1. This is a zip file. If we unzip this, you'll see what it looks like, but we could look at it here and then upload it as a zip file. You could see angles and hooks, brands and EMD, introduction, traffic selection, and on we go. This also is a transcript, right? So starting with this, we're able to see, okay, these are files that we're actually going to use. Now, this is super important because even if you're starting with nothing and you don't know your digital product, this is where we want to end up. So this is kind of the goal of like okay, yes, we want these different files, we want these different things that we can use. Now, we're gonna put these on a server. I'm gonna show you why that's important in a little bit. When you see all of this come together at the end of this training, you're gonna be really excited about what you can create with this because it actually does it for us. What came about is understanding that one of the things that Manus does really well is Manus is able to actually like browse the web like us, okay? Whereas other ones will go to Google and find different things and research and stuff like that. Manus, I can give a list of websites that I own and say, figure out where the errors are, check for spelling, check for links that don't work, see where I can upload new things and make it better. So Manus is kind of like having an employee that'll go out there and look at your website in real time. This is super important. How many of you guys, if you look at this, you're like, I can kind of see why that's important, but how does that apply to building a digital product? I'm going to show you in a minute because I want you to remember one of the things we talk about on this channel all the time is websites are just folders, like folders and files on your computer. That's all it is. If you understand that and you understand that Manus can go and look at that and categorize it and understand it, now you're able to build something in a very cool way. So going through here, what we're going to do first and foremost, if you don't have a product, what you can do is you could start with your knowledge. Let's say you're really good at, mortgage brokers or mortgage underwriting or something like that. You could build a product about mortgages. Obviously, watch my other videos, understand, first we need to see if there's demand there, which in that case there would be. Or if you're starting from nothing, what we can do is we can use Notebook LM. Now, Notebook LM is very good at going through and extracting things from anything, really, right? We could go through and I can open a new Notebook LM, and let's say I was in the business where I want to teach people how to play basketball better or how to ride a bike or whatever it is, maybe how to build a deck for their house or something like that. In this example, let's go through, we're going to do deep research. It's going to take a little bit, but I think the outcome will be worth it. And what we're going to do is we're going to say something like, let's do how to promote a new restaurant locally using online methods. Okay, what is this going to do? Well, if I wanted to create a course about how to promote a new restaurant and I want to get some data and some info on that, what this is going to do is it's going to use Google's deep research, which is one of the best deep researches out there. It's going to find various different websites about how to promote a restaurant online. It's going to extract all of that information. This is super important because once it's done, then what we can do is we can get a mind map. So in this example here, I went through and I got data for mastering code and understanding how to do code online. Like if you want to be a programmer, what kind of course would I do? Now, going through here, we were actually able to get a mind map which structures it. One of the things that I say all the time is information structured differently can make you money, can build you a business. Understanding this is key because you look at it, it's like, okay, if you were to understand how big the information product industry is online, it's absurd. I think last I heard it was like $1 billion a day or something. How big is digital online learning business or something like that? I think I heard somewhere that it was around $1 billion a day. So $320 billion for the e-learning market. What does that mean? Well, a lot of people think, oh, with ChatGPT and with the information online, everything's free anyway, so nobody pays for courses anymore. Well, $320 billion a year is saying otherwise. That says people are still doing that. So information structured differently is where the key is. So looking at this, what it's going to do with Notebook LM is it's going to go through and structure it so that we can visually understand what would a course look like. If I was going through and I was like, how to build your own house, okay, well, first you need to get some dirt, right? Then you need to build the frame. Then you probably need to pour the cement and get some joists and all those fancy things that build a house. What we need to do is we need to see what would a course look like if I was going to make a very robust course about this topic. Then we go through and the mind map is going to help us understand, okay, program execution, developer tooling, all of this stuff is going to go through and give us an overview of how it works. This is super, super important stuff. Let me show you what happens when you put, let's see, we'll go into Gemini, and I'm going to show you what happens when you put this mind map into Gemini. Understanding that if you can take a strong point from one AI and use it in a different AI, you're going to get a different understanding of it, which that's where, in my opinion, the money is, right? This is what I've been doing for a long time. And if you can extract and understand things in a different way, it'll start to change things for you. So going through here, if I was to go and look at, I think it was, let's see, where was it? Videos, upload. I think we could do this again to show you. So what happens here is you want to go through and get that overview and then just expand all of these trees, and it'll start to understand these trees. And let me see here. I know I had it in here somewhere. Mobile friendly file cluster. Maybe one of these. Oh yeah, here it is. This one. So what I did is I uploaded that mind map that I got from Notebook LM, right like this. You can see this is the mind map right here. And I said, turn this into an HTML visual dashboard course with icons, the main parts visual nice. So that way it went through and it made this dashboard based on understanding of where these would all fit in. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? It's like, okay, where do these fit? Where do they go? How does it work? And what would that look like as a course? Now, this is important because once we get in, you'll be able to build this stuff. Even if you're not an expert in it, you can go through and you can compile info that'll actually work really, really well. So now we're going to go through and take these different batches of information that we get and extract it. Okay, same kind of thing I did here with software development. There was another one I did over here with digital marketing sales for personal trainers. So one of the examples I wanted to do here was the digital marketing and sales strategies for personal trainers, where I could go through and say, okay, well, what would this look like? Well, let's take a look. First off, you have personal trainer marketing strategies. Then you have digital marketing, social media, email, local, and all of these have different trees on them. And watch what happens here. This is going to help you understand, okay, this is what a product would look like. If I build this product, very simple. And this is something where it takes about 20 or 30 minutes to get from Notebook LM to where you get this exact thing based on many different resources and different sites, which I'll show you. Right over here, boom. And we keep going and going. And then we'll have all of this here. And we are now off to the races. Okay, so now once all these are opened, I'm going to download it like this. I'll go back into Gemini. Let's open a new one. And I'm going to say Tools, Canvas. And this is where the starting point is. When you start with your digital product, if you start like this, it makes it so much easier. So we're going to go through and I'm going to do, using this image, make a cool visual dashboard with icons for a course digital product on how to promote your personal training services and gym. Visual with icons, please, HTML. Very important that we do HTML because what will happen is we'll be able to go through and get something very specific. Okay, so we're going to go right like this. Next. And then we'll go through. And let's see here. Okay, so now it's building out this little dashboard for us. This is super important because it's going to help us do the rest of the research. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to have our file bucket right like this. We're going to upload the file bucket. We're going to have Manus run its magic. Boom. A couple hours later, we will have a digital product that we can use. Now, it's very important to make sure it doesn't plagiarize, make sure it doesn't hit any copywritten stuff. You don't want to copy things that are already out there. That's why it's very important to go through and have a human in the mix where you're building this on your own. So now we have this here, Fit Pro X or whatever. Welcome back, coach. Your roadmap to a six-figure training business starts here. Module 3, lead gen mastery, resume lesson, so that it keeps track of them. brand identity and voice, social media, high ticket sales, client success, operations, paid ad strategies. So now we see, okay, this gives us a nice little dashboard. I could even go through and say, make it more detailed. So let's see here. Please make more detailed. More icons, more visual, easy, right? So this will go through and it'll start to build this out with all of the different things. And then what's going to happen is you'll visualize this before we even start the actual product stuff. And then when we realize, okay, I can add to this, like I can add maybe some prompts, maybe some things that would help these personal trainers, maybe some things that would give them a better result or something like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to build out all the files for it, and then boom, we're off to the races and we'll have something we can build. Now, going through here, first step is use Notebook LM to get a mind map. We did this example over here where we did this one for digital dominance. I think it was for restaurants. Okay, so here's our restaurant one. What we're going to do next, we can see all 46 sources, has a bunch of them. We're going to go ahead and click import. This is going to import all of these sources into our Notebook LM. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get the lay of the land. Because if I have 40, 50, 100 different websites that are all talking about how to promote a restaurant, Notebook LM is going to synthesize that data and it's going to understand it visually in that mind map, right? So think of that as like the legs of the course, right? That's what we're going to build. That's what our digital product is going to be about. Now, when I go through and all of these are done, I can hit mind map and I can also create reports. So you'll notice over here that in addition to the mind map we have for the personal training one, you're also going to see we have several different reports. So we'll go back to our studio and you can see we have this one here, create your local digital authority. Digital authority blueprint, strategic social media training. Okay, so what I would do here is I would take this report, right, like that, and I'm going to download it. Now with Notebook LM, their downloading is kind of a pain, but what I would do is I would just go through and start putting these on a server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I could put them on my computer, but making a TXT file and saving it might be kind of a pain. I'll show you both methods so that you can see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build it on the server here because it's easier. So here we have, let's see, I think I had the server for the gym one. Let's see if I have that one here. Gym. Okay, so this is for Gym Scale, which is a domain I bought for this purpose. We're going to go in here and let's see, how do we get out of that? Let's see here. I don't want to do that. There's some Windows thing here. How do we get out of that? Ungroup? How do we unsplit them? Move tabs to another window. Separate views. There we go. Okay, cool. So what's going to happen here is we're going to go into our server right like this. We're going to go into File Manager. We're going to go into www, and I'm going to go ahead and create a folder. Let's call this gym scale or gym dash, something like that. We can change it later. Okay, so we're going to create the new folder right like this, and then I'm going to create various different things. So I would go through and I'd look at what this is about. So let's get out of this. Of course, it wants to give us a problem here. But let's see here, Notebook LM. I think we can close. Let's see if we can close this here. But what we'd want to do is we want to go through and separate these based on our dashboard. So understanding how the dashboard works and everything, we're going to go through and I will create a new file. So we'll do new file. We'll call this social media tips.txt. Very important that we do txt. I'm going to show you why in a minute. Edit, paste that info in there. There's our title, the digital whatever for personal trainers, right like that. And then we could put our other info here. Actually, it looks like I had the title on it, so we'll just copy that. And bada bing, bada boom. There we have our text file. Now, if you wanted, you can also do this on your own server. Like if I'm doing If I'm doing something else like Manus or something, it'll actually do it for me. Let's do this here. And we have social media tips. So trying to get that there, Jim Dash. Okay, so now if everything worked right, I should be able to open jimscale.com/jim-socialmediatips.txt. There it is, nice. And you might be saying, okay, well, what is this? How does this even do anything? Just wait, it's gonna get better, okay? So now I'm gonna move this over to another window just to keep that so I have the link there. And then I'm gonna create another one. So I would go back into my Notebook LM. Okay, I think if I go like this, can I just refresh it maybe? There we go, cool. So I'll go in here and then I can do like the Gym Owner's Digital Playbook Website and Market Integration. Okay, we'll do this here. Right, like that. And we'll create another one, file, website building.txt, create new file, right, like that. Edit, edit, boom, save. And you're just gonna do this with all of the files, okay? So we go through, we'd have all of these files on there. Now, if you want, you could do this with several different ways, like you could use Manus, where you go through and say, okay, now create all these things for me. That would help. So I could go over to Manus, right like this. Let's open a new Manus. I think, will it open in a new tab? We might need to open a new Manus over here. So we'll go to Manus, right like this. And what I'll do is in this new Manus, I'll show you how the files work, okay? I can go through like this and get that image. So here's our Notebook LM mind map. Boom. Now I can go through and say, based on this setup, make 5 to 10 prompts for each section on the tree that personal trainers and gym owners can use to get more business. Make each file a TXT with the report in it, with the prompt in it. Name the file whatever the prompt is, i.e. email client onboard.txt or whatever. Make the folder structure match the outline in the image. Okay, this is super important. What's gonna happen is you're now gonna understand, hey, this is how this works. This is gonna give you the whole rundown. Now, another thing you can do, something that I've done, is you can go through with Notebook LM. All right, let's open another one here. And Notebook LM is very, very good. It is the best at understanding something big. So if I give it like the encyclopedia of all of the AIs, it's gonna understand it best. So what I'm gonna do, let's go Manus right here, and I'll show you in Manus and in Notebook LM because I want you to see the difference between gathering the data. Gathering the data is literally everything. So if we go through and let's do the transcript of a webinar, and this is the one that we're gonna build live for you. Again, when you see all of this compile, it's crazy cool. So let's go through, I'm gonna open this, I think Notepad, yeah. So here in Notepad, this is our training, okay? So now I can go through in Manus and say, make a full outline on this webinar replay transcript. This will go through and do that outline, and then we can do the same in Notebook LM, but in Notebook LM, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna add a source, and I'm gonna use copied text. It should take it all. It's like a 5-hour webinar, so might struggle a little. But now, this is gonna help us get data. So again, what we've gone over is how to find the info yourself using Notebook LM, go through, get that mind map, and then start building each of the trees on the mind map, okay? Super cool. Now, once we go through there, we're gonna go and make the files, okay? Like we're doing over here in Manus, we are making all the files for each of those prompts on the tree in the image, okay? Do you guys see how important this is? Let me know in the chat box if you guys are following along. If you're a little lost, let me know that as well. But I think understanding like, okay, how do we go through and get that data? What do we do with the data? How do we structure it? And then how do we actually get it ready to sell? One of the cool things is right now we're actually doing that all in one. We're going through and we're building everything in one stack so that at the end we're ready to go. So if this seems kind of like detailed or, you know, intricate or something like that, at the end you'll be like, oh, that's why we did it all. And I want you to remember, this webinar is probably gonna be a little bit less than 2 hours, or live stream or whatever you call it. At the end of 2 hours, when you see what we built, you're gonna be like, wow, that was absolutely worth waiting for, because now I see setting up all these legs and everything is what makes it work. Far too many people, they just wanna like wake up and build a house. Or that's not gonna happen. You gotta get the foundation, you gotta get the stuff going. That's why we're doing this process, and going through this process is going to help you even more. Now, another thing you can do is if you are going through and you want to use PLR, okay, this is where the file method is so important. What you can do is you can go get PLR. I like to use PLR ME. They're really good. I know the guy who started it, really nice guy. I have some specials on it, so if you want to check out my site, we're actually going to do a training on using PLR with AI. If you're interested in that, let me know. Type it as a comment below or put it in the chat box or something like that, and we'll go through how to use the PLR stuff, because it's super important. Once you understand, this is about files and structure more than it's about the actual content. Because if you have content and it's structured the wrong way, nobody's going to want it. But if I have content that I buy from someone or create with AI and is structured properly, then I'm off to the races. So when going through, if we're going to do, let's do scarcity or something like that. Okay, this has a bunch of files with it, 123. So scarcity to abundance or productivity. Okay, so let's say I wanted to go through and do like a productivity course or something like that. I could download this here, and I think there's a spot where I have all my old downloads. I don't remember, but let's just do this here. If I was to download this productivity one, okay, I can see, okay, here's all the files. This is what they look like. Very simple. Okay, so we'll open the folder. Here's all of our files. Okay, and let's say I wanted other ones too. I could go through and find other stuff based on productivity, right? And start adding that up. Productivity. Boom. Go here, right? Let's see if there's other ones that we can do. So that's like the get it done productivity. Let's say others. And obviously when you're using PLR stuff, make sure the rights fit what you're doing. Most of the time it will. So let's get this time management one that fits very nicely with productivity. Obviously, productivity and time management kind of go hand in hand, which is cool. Okay, so we'll get that one there, and you'll see we just have these two files here. Here's what this one looks like. You got Apple, Keynotes, PowerPoints, all kinds of stuff. It even has the license there, okay? Next, we have our time management one. Again, got all the info, got all the license, stuff like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to understand, like, what can I actually do with this where it's not just PLR sitting on a folder. I can actually turn it into something that's usable, that's sellable, that's good. Again, going through, understanding the folder example is literally everything. Because when I go through, same kind of thing here, instead of building the files on their own, I'm gonna build them with this zip folder. So we'll go right here. Had it open somewhere over here. There we go. So right here, we have a gym dash. I'm gonna go up a level and I'll just show you what this would look like in the PLR example. Folder, we'll call this productive. Okay, productive. Okay, so there we have productive. Here's our folder. I could literally just take these files that I just downloaded. Obviously, make sure the rights are good. I'm just showing you an example. It's up to you to make sure that you have all this stuff organized and you have the rights to everything. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to go and take these files. Okay, there's our 2 files. We'll hit upload. I'm going to drag and drop these here. Boom. And it should unzip them all, I hope. If not, we'll have to do it manually, which is kind of a pain. But then we'll just reload here, extract, same as unzip. That's just what it's called on a server. We'll extract it here, and then there's all our files. It looks like it did unzip them all, so we're looking good. A lot of doc files, good stuff there. Okay. Then we'll do extract this one. Boom. Looking good. Okay. So going through and using the PLR, now we have a bunch of junk, just a ton of stuff there, right? So now what I'm going to do is super, super important. This is the same thing I'm going to do if I'm making my own files or my own course, or if I'm using PLR. This is the most important thing out there. What we're going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to use Gemini here. Okay, I should be opening a new Gemini. I'm going to go to Gemini. I'm going to go to Canvas, and I'm going to say, create me a HTML, or yeah, let's just do HTML index file. Important. This file will categorize and list everything in the folders and files in that directory, like a directory file. There we go. And this should do it for us. And this is important because this is what's going to tell Manus, here's all the stuff I want you to work with. This is absolutely key. So going through, we'll show you the PLR one, and then I'll show you the one that we're doing for the gym promotion one. Now, going through here, we have our gym promotion one. Let's open a new one. I am making a course about productivity and procrastination. I think that was what both of those were about, right? Let's double check on the server. We got productivity, time management, get it done productivity, and time management. Okay, now I could go through and I could do a notebook LM on this if I want. Let's just do that just so you guys can see the whole bit here. And if you guys like this, let me know. We're going to go through. I will do productivity, time management, and procrastination. This should do good. Let's do deep research. And you could do 3 if you want, but I'm just going to do them all in one. And let's see what happens here. So now it's going to get all of the sources for that. I did fast research. I probably should have done deep research, but that's okay. You'll get the idea. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at what our file looks like over here. And please make a visual icon dashboard for this course. Think about the flow of info and what would help them most. We're going to go through, we're going to do Canvas. This will give us the dashboard. And we might need to tell it HTML. Let's see if it does it in React. It did React. So we'll say HTML, please, not React. That's so that we can see it and use it on our server. If it's React, it's really difficult to use on our server. So that's why we want to go in and use this. All right, so now, while that's going, let's see how we're doing with this. Step 2 of 5, it's doing its research. And then let's see how our index file's doing. Okay, so here we have index manager. Perfect. So build your directory inbox, click the button to grant temporary read only. Okay, I want this to work in the folder it is hosted in. No need to select, it will be there. Let's see if this does it. Because if we can get this, then what will happen is we'll be able to go to Manus and be like, okay, here's all the stuff I got, make me a course. And that's literally what I did. I mean, I was blown away at how amazing this worked, because I was able to go through with Manus and ask it to look at the stuff on my server like this, and then boom, it went through. So I said, please analyze this structure and let's put this stuff where it makes sense. Now, it was important here, like if you were to go there now, it's a password protected directory for the product. But back then, the index1.php was the directory file. So that's what we're going to be using here. You'll see how it works. And then I went through and it went and gathered all of this stuff. It mapped out the inventory, because this is inventory. If I have a bunch of files and a bunch of this and a bunch of that, those are all inventory that I can use for my course. Maybe I have prompts and this and that. Going through, Manus is actually making those prompts over here for us. Okay, I think I had it in one of these over here, or Manus over here, right? So it went through and it got the webinar outline, all of that. So it's all about like taking the info and making things from it, right? Does that make sense to everyone? Where it's like, okay, I'm getting all of the stuff. I'm getting the lay of the land. I'm getting that mind map. I'm getting, if I have a webinar, I'm getting that webinar info. I'm putting it in there, obviously using my own webinar, getting it to dissect everything that we want. Now I can go through and have Notebook LM make a mind map about it. I can have Manus create files about it. I could create literally whatever I want. And if you understand how to use AI in this way, you get a much better output that we can actually build and sell. I do this all the time. I've built membership sites with Manus and different tools. I've built various different digital products with it, and understanding that it'll help you organize what people need. Going through and looking at that now, let's get our mind map here. Mind map. Oh, did it do it? There we go. And it'll go through and get that. This one here with the webinar outline, now we have the intro, the understanding of it. I could turn this into a dashboard, right? So going through and using that as a dashboard would work really well. I can go through and I can get notes from it. I can go through and chop it up and say, now part 1, now part 2. All of this will help you get that data, because here's the deal. What do I do for a living? I make information that's out there anyway, right? There's nothing new that I teach. I mean, I teach it in different ways and stuff like that, but it's the packaging of it. The packaging is more important. Like you look at water companies, most of their cost in water is the container the water comes in. It's the packaging. And that's also what sells it. Understanding that's key. It's all about the packaging. It's all about how you do it. So if we're able to go through and use these to get an overview, to get a mind map, to build the files, then we can go through and have Manus literally change the game. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get that file here. Okay, so this one, let's do not React. It should have changed it for us, hopefully. Reload. Did I say to take it out of React? I might not have. Not React HTML, please. This should do it for us. And think about it this way, like if you were able to have, maybe you have a bunch of videos you make and you want to turn them into a course. Maybe you have a bunch of webinars or PDF files or worksheets or whatever, and you want to organize those into something. This is where you could literally just dump all the stuff and get everything lined out. Why does it keep going to, it looks like it keeps going React. It might not be. Maybe it's not React. Save the code below in the folder. Can we, it just HTML? Or do we need the PY file? Let's see here. Yeah, Claude is a little bit better. You could do this with Claude. Let's see if this does better. We'll go to Claude over here. And Claude's actually very good at making reports too. So if I do like this, let's see, HTML index file. Probably going to be faster too. Yeah, that one was Python, the PY. But sometimes it'll default to React, which is a pain. What I want is something super, super simple that I can use. So let's see here. And then as we're going, what we're going to do is we have the gem scale example, the learn coding example, which would have a bunch of different files. So what we're going to do is we're going to visualize it. We're going to visualize, okay, if I wanted to learn coding, what would I need? Well, I would need to learn like HTML. Okay, what does it have with it? Well, colors, pages, codes. Then maybe I'll want to learn PHP. What will that have? This, that, and the other. Is there a list of a bunch of codes that beginners need? Okay, how can I use that? How can I focus? Okay, that's where we want to go. Next up, we're going to take it and look at the different files. We're going to use Gemini for our dashboard. Okay, again, use Notebook LM. You can start from nothing. You can get something you can use with Notebook LM. Get the mind map, then use Manus, make the files. Or you could use PLR. We're going to use Gemini for the dashboard. We're going to give it that mind map and say, make the dashboard. Then we're going to look at the different types of files. You can have text-based files like PDF, TXT, doc, RTF, MD, all of these different ones, or even HTML. Then you can have video files, MP3, or audio files rather, MP3, and on we go. Tool files, HTML, PHP, Java, CSS, those different ones. Spreadsheets, like if you have documents of spreadsheets, maybe you have like a budgeting course, those would be where that would fit. Then you're going to have AI prompt files like TXT, MD, JSON, or YAML. Then you have AI research, images, and on we go. PowerPoints, templates, all of this stuff is things that you can use as a digital product. And when you package it right, that's where all of the stuff happens. Then we're going to go through and we're going to make a big file dump. Okay, this is important. Like, it seems kind of haphazard, but what you want to do is you want to spend the time and start gathering data. Think about like, okay, I want research on this topic. Okay, good, save that. I want to get a bunch of prompts or maybe things they can read on the phone when people call them for a gym membership. Okay, what could they read? Or an onboarding process or an email. All of these things are things that we would want, and we're gonna start to have that file dump where they're all on our server, and then Manus is gonna make sense of them. This is super important. That's why we're gonna upload the file dump and make that file in this here. Okay, see how this did the site root? Perfect, this is what we want. So now I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna get the code for this, boom, copy, and then I'll just go to my server over here, and I'm gonna go to the one where we put the productivity stuff right here. I'm gonna do file, index.php, I think should work, create new file. We'll get index.php, edit, paste that code in from Claude, save. Now we should be able to go to gymscale.com, productive index. Okay, let's see here. So now we'll go gymscale.com over here. We'll do it over here. gymscale.com/productive index. Nice. So now we should have all of our stuff here. Footer function. This might not have gotten it. Let's see. Refresh. Okay, why is this folders? Does that match the folders? It should match these folders. Okay, Apple Keynote. Is that in there? Okay, maybe it went too far. Admin, CSS, images, includes. Okay, let's see here. I uploaded this, but it's not making the directory based on the files in the folder I upload it in. I want to use this on cpanel, and it finds all the stuff in that folder and subfolders and files and lists them in a hierarchy all in one go. Let's see if it does it. Somehow it got a little lost in the translation, which sometimes happens, but what I want is something where it's like, here's your list. Here's all the stuff you need. Yeah, I think it just made like a mock-up, which we don't want. So it didn't understand me at all there. That's fine. Sometimes AI does do that where it's like, I'll give you what I want, not what you asked for. You just need to ask it again and get all that, okay? So now, let's see here. Now we're going to go through and put this up, and it should see everything we want. It looks like it did understand it, so it's going to scan for everything. What that's going to do is it's going to help Manus see everything that's there so it can classify it and make it work. And if you guys are liking this training, let me know, and I can do more of these. These are kind of difficult to do. We do these kind of trainings in our classes each week. So if you're not in our classes, check out joinmarcus.com. You can join one of our classes. We actually have a really good class coming up Saturday that's going to talk about how to get up to speed with AI. Very highly recommended. It's going to be a total of an 8-hour class. We're going to break it up into 2 4-hour sections. Definitely, if you feel like you're behind on AI, that's one you want to check out. It's a one-time deal. You just go in there, attend the class, you get the replays and everything. The reason I'm doing these classes is because it makes these types of things, which is really cool. And that's what we did with this one here. This was all based on a webinar I did, which was like I think it was a 6-hour webinar. And we did a 6-hour webinar on how to create your own digital product. And this turned it into an actual digital product, which was cool. Now I have something I can sell. Everyone who's gotten it so far has absolutely loved it. And it like walks you through how to build a digital product. Now, when we go through with this, what's going to happen is we'll be able to build these really, really quickly. And hopefully, I don't know, Claude's not being very quick, but we can see how it works. All right, so come on now. It's going. Okay, there we go. So here's what it looks like. Site root uploaded it, but it's not making it. Okay, did it? It might have stuck. I think it got stuck. That's our old one. Now it's going to go through this again. The joys of AI, right? And then I don't know if this one works. It might. To make it just work without clicking any buttons, you need the PIY file. Okay, so let's see. Do I just run it by typing that? It will instantly create a file named that. Okay, so it'll actually make the file somehow. Generate. Okay, let's try this one and see. Okay, so this would be new file, generate py dot py, was it? Something like that. Create new file. Let's double check the naming of it. Generate underscore index. So we'll just do generate underscore index. .py, rename, edit, save, and then let's see, that should do the trick. Generate generate index .py. And I think you might need to run this every time. Yeah, that's not doing the trick. We might have to run it in something else. Let's try Claude's version. Claude should be better. There we go. Nice. Okay. Copy. And let's call this index.php. Edit. Edit. Save. Okay, let's see if that one wants to work. And where did we go? This was, go right here. gymscale.com, productive, index.php. Okay, looks like it has an error. Okay, it's being a pain. But what you would want to do is actually go through and build this index file. Now, you could make some kind of file that would show everything. But what we want to do is we want to get it to where it'll show all the files. So let's see here. Config options at the top, true, false, set. Okay, let's see. I get this. Okay, so it should fix it. I think it had like emojis in there or something. And let's see if it does it. This is the most important part. That's why I'm going to take some time on it. And we wait and wait. Let's see how our files are doing in Manus also, because that was creating us quite a bit of stuff here. Yep, there we go. Looks like AI wants to be funny today. Sometimes you just have a bad AI day. You learn that with AI where it's like, hey, sometimes we just get a tough time. But what this is going to do is it's going to make all those prompts, which we can again put in a folder, and then boom, we're ready to go. Once we have all this set up, we're going to be off to the races, and then we're going to package it into all of this stuff here, okay? So let's see. Man, this sure is taking a while today. And here we go. Come on. Gotta like waiting, right? Okay, so now let's do another file dump. Let's see how this one's doing. Script looks complete. Folder structure, so it is creating the zip. And it should have a bunch. So that's 265 prompt files. Excellent. This is what we want, because now I'm going to have something specific for the gym people to have all those prompts where it's like, okay, now in addition to just like a digital course or a digital product, now it's got prompts that are going to make it happen. I can make it to where they just input like, here's my gym, here's the local area, boom, it'll make the prompts for them. And it'll actually run them like we did in the example over here, where they could go through at the bottom, put their digital product or whatever it is, and it'll do that for them by having all of those like this, how to jump higher. In this instance, it would be, you know, Tom's workout gym or something like that. So understanding that's key, because again, if we can learn how all these files work, it's going to work. Now, check this out. Now we have all of these PT, personal trainer, marketing prompts, digital marketing. Here's all the list: in-person, lead gen, sales, business development. Now I can go through here and download this. This is part of our file dump. Okay, so if I had this with my other personal trainer stuff, maybe videos, transcript, stuff like that, now we're off to the races and I can add these. This is where everything gets super important, because now I can go take this dashboard here. I can give this to Manus and say, now add links to these from the dashboard. Now, this is one way you can do it. I'm going to show you a better way, okay? So first of all, let's go over here to our server. And let's see here. We will do up a level. Up a level, up a level. Where do we go? Up one level. There we go. So we got gym dashboard. Okay, so we have social media, website building, whatever. We're going to upload this zip file. Boop. Reload. There it is. Extract. I'm going to just call it prompts. prompts, right, like that. Okay, extract files. There we go. So all of this here. Now it did add another folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to select all. And I'm going to try to move these up a level, because the more you have, the more complicated it gets, the harder it's going to be. So we'll go like this, move files up. Now what that just did is now I have all these files in gym-prompts, right, like this. Okay, so gym scale, gym-prompts. Again, we got to put that slash in there. There we go. Now, it doesn't have anything in it, so we're going to put that index file so it finds them. Okay, everyone following? Is there a way to get API calls cheaper, like Claude? The cheapest, Gemini is the cheapest for AI API calls. So that's what I use. And it's actually very user-friendly. So that's what I would do. Okay, you can use Claude, but Claude is one of the more expensive ones. Now let's see how we're doing with our index file. Okay, good. Fixed it. Let's copy. And let's go to, we'll just put it in where we have these folders here. File, index.php, create, edit. This should work, hopefully. I know I did this on the one I had. Let's see, gym-prompts, index. There we go. Now we're in business. This is what we want. This is super important. We have business development. Boom. Here's all of the files. Now, I want to change this. Important. Do not make them click to expand. I want the whole list of URLs clickable. So, like a tree. Folder 1, index.123, whatever, txt, ect. Let's see if this does it, because I don't want it to click, because that's going to take Manus more time, and the chances of it not getting one is high, right? I don't want it to have to go boom, boom, boom. I want it to just know, okay? And what you're going to see next, again, this is more advanced type stuff. If you like it, join the course Saturday. I think you'll love it, because we're going to go through like the backlog of how did we get here? Because once you're here, now we're off to the races. We're going to build this stuff, okay? So going through here, again, we're going to upload our file dump, and then we're going to have the packaging structure. This is how you package your stuff. It's going to be like course name, videos, module 1, module 2, PDFs, workbook PDF, checklist PDF, prompts, tools, calculators. All of this stuff is what's going to make up that digital product, and it's very important that you understand the folders, because that's where everything's going to be built. And if it seems like it's kind of overwhelming or overloading, just remember, like, you're building a business, right? You wouldn't just walk in and be like, I just want to make money. Oh, well, here's the free money box, right? That doesn't exist. We want to go through, and we're actually going to have to build something like a business. Results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people make nothing. Most people don't do what it takes. They give up too soon. They don't really look at, okay, I'm going to move past it. One of the things that I've found among entrepreneurs that really make this stuff work is they keep going no matter what. They keep learning. A lot of people, they would have given up already. Oh, well, Claude didn't give me the right code. It must not work. Let me get another guru course and learn something else that I'll give up on. Sticking it through is very important. Follow one path until you reach success, until you see something happen. Keep following that path, keep learning, keep understanding, and keep growing. Now, going through here, we're going to make that PHP page, which is what we're doing here. Excellent. Let's see how it comes up. Copy. We will replace this one here. There it is. Is it productive, or is it, I think it's this one, prompts. Save. Then we should have it here. Boom. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, this is what I wanted. We have acquire new certifications, do all this. scaling models, digital content marketing, you have content, you have email, all of this here, okay? So now watch this. This is where the rubber meets the road, because now if I have all these, okay, whether it's from PLR, whether I'm creating them on my own, whatever I'm doing, I can now go to Manus, I can open a new task here, and I can say, make a dashboard fun, easy, with icons for this content. And if you have videos, it'll actually load those as well. So we'll go like this, make a dashboard fun, easy, with icons for this content. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it should go through. Now Manus is able to read that folder structure and it can create based on it. Okay, and if you have a bunch of PDF files, TXT files, prompt files, it'll understand what they are, which is absolutely mind-bogglingly amazing. I did this where I actually fed it a page that had like 2,600 of my domain names. It literally categorized them, found the price of them, found what they have on them, looked for backlinks. It was insane. And it made a full directory site about it. Now I can go do this stuff. This is what a lot of people don't realize with AI. They're busy creating videos and things like that, which is cool. But the strong point is in understanding and being able to do jobs that you would usually have to pay other people to do. Like just today, Valeria was talking to me. She does our site building here. And she was talking to me about how we're using AI image creators to make bulk images. And we looked it up and it was literally like 37 or 57 cents for something that we usually pay an outsourcer like $40 for. And now we're getting it for 50 cents and we're getting it quicker. Understanding the power of how AI works and where to fit it in your business is key. Making cute little videos and things like that is fun, but I want to build things that are actually going to catapult a business, whether it's prompts, whether it's tools, whether it's structured things people can use over and over and over again. This is where the rubber meets the road, where we go through and build this out. Now, going through and understanding next what we can do with these files is also key. So if I go through and I say, well, I have these files on here that are TXT files. Okay, now what I could do is I can make a TXT interpreter, right? And that interpreter will go through and it'll look at, interpret the files. So watch what happens here. Now I'll make my dashboard. Instead of going through and changing all 500 files and having all 530 prompt files, now it's going to organize them. Okay, so watch this. And now we have 21 categories. And then we should be able to hit that next step where it'll make the interpreter, where it'll use all those files within that. And then once we're done, we lock up the folder, sell access to it, and now we have a digital product. And it's not like a lot of other digital products that are just a course or just an audio or a webinar or something like that. This is something where, they click and it'll open up a prompt or something like that. So we'll see how this web app works. And then going through again, what you're doing is you're just putting a bunch of files, making the index file so that Manus can read it, and then having Manus put it all together. So now, let's see where we're at with Manus. Now I can go through and wait on this and create that big portion. And then I can even tie it to, like if I wanted to make it AI enabled, I can tie it to an API call where the prompt is the call, right? So like here, if we have a prompt for, let's say this one here, right? I could go through and I can have this be the prompt. Now they can click it and run it. Much like I did with this one here, or what happens is they can actually apply it or run it with Gemini and it'll run that prompt right there, right? And what's happening, see how this is the reader? It's just reading that file. So literally, if it had nothing to read, it's not gonna show a file. So there's one file that reads all of this stuff and it's literally the same on all of it. You'll see reader.html is that file. So what we'll do is we'll make a reader it'll organize it all so I don't have to have a million different folders and files and a million different HTML files and things like that. And if I wanted to edit the reader, now I just edit reader. So like, let's say I wanted a button up here that says, hey, buy this other thing. Okay, now I just edit the reader. Now all of the stuff is now affected. Okay, are you guys seeing the power of this? It's all about understanding files and structures and folders. Once you get this, it helps you really understand what we do as marketers, what we do as content builders, because now you have something that relies on all these other things that you created. It's like a vast knowledge of database where now it can run it. It can add a variable to it or something like that. Let's see what's happening over here in Manus. It's taken a while, but we'll see. Manus does take some time, but it's well worth it what you're going to get. So it's going to create the HTML dashboard with icons, color-coded categories, and clickable links based on the 530 files from 21 categories. Now, very important, if you are doing this for the first time, maybe do it on a test server, like have a test web hosting account that you can test it on so that you don't accidentally mess up your other stuff. But this is something where you can make a dashboard fairly simply. Also, one of the other tips, when you're done, delete all the zip files and leave the regular stuff. Obviously save backups of it, but having zip files on your server, sometimes that'll send a flag to, different things like, oh, hey, there's zip files on this, could be malicious or whatever. Even though they're not, sometimes it does have a false flag. So I like to get rid of those zip files. All right, so now it's going through, it's testing it. Looks like it has a search. Okay, so it has a search box where they could search. That's kind of cool. Don't really need it, but hey, whatever, it might help. Okay. And then let's see how this one worked with Notebook LM. I think this was for productivity. And again, if we put that index file on the productivity one, let's get that index file again, copy, and this basically will work for any index. That's what's cool about it. You build it once, and you're ready to go. So let's use this for the productivity one. We'll go to up a level, up another level, productive, and then index, edit, save, and then we should be able to do productive. And let's do this here. There we go. So we have office organization. I don't know what, okay, that's like a keynote. I think that's like a PowerPoint. I think that's what that is. Apple Pages, docx. Cool. So now I can go through, watch this. This is where it really gets good, because if I obviously make sure read your license, make sure it works with this. Not all of them do, but we could go through and we could see the different files. Okay, I don't know why. Okay, so that's Word. Might be having trouble seeing them. Okay, there, that did work. Okay, cool. So now going through, here's our text. Good, now it's, okay, now we got it. So yeah, going through here, what we would do is give this to Manus, and we'd be like, okay, now categorize these. And it'll actually read the files too, which is great. So if we go over to Manus over here, let's see how it's doing. So here's our dashboard for this one. Boom, Gym scale, I mean, are you guys seeing what just happened? Like, do you guys get the power of this? Professional image, scaling modules. I could pair this with training, right? And if I want to do this faceless without using my face, I could go through with the Notebook LM, and I could start creating videos for this, right? I would just go through, I would click on video, let's do video overview, and then I would say, make this specific to, let's do, so this is for restaurant, promote, restaurant, first day, opening. Okay, so if they're promoting the first day of their restaurant, this will make a video for the first day of the restaurant promoting. And going through and getting all this stuff, I mean, now I could take Manus and say now, list out, let's do video ideas that I can add as training videos on how each category or type of promotion works. Boom. Now I go through. This will list out video ideas from the content I have. This is where it's so important. That's why we're using Manus. That's why we're using Notebook LM, because it's a box. It takes my content, puts it in a box. What I get is from that box. Now I'm building on it. Okay, is that everyone following along? Like, I know there's a little bit more detailed than my usual stuff, but again, check out joinmarcus.com if you want to be on Saturday's call where we're going to get you caught up, because if you're not caught up on this stuff, you need to be. Like, if you find this to be a little over your head, you need to get caught up. In the age of AI, you're either caught up or you're not. And the more time goes and the less caught up you are, the further behind you're going to get. That's why we need to understand where all this works and how to use it in a very strategic way. You can go to joinmarcus.com. This green button is for Saturday's workshop. It's going to be an all-out workshop. We're going to talk about the basics. We're going to talk about advanced stuff. We're going to talk about files, folders, how everything works online, and how to build and grow. Also, if you want the digital product one, you can use the red button there. That is this one I made for how to launch your own product. Really cool stuff. It goes through and walks you through, like, okay, how do I build my product? Where do I watch the training videos? All of it's here. And again, this is all based on a 4-hour webinar I did, which was all about this. And it took that webinar and made it with the tools and everything. And if you understand the power of this, smash that like button, because this is the stuff that we build and grow. Obviously, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. I still got to go sell it. But again, now all I would have to do is start posting on social media, hey, if you're a gym owner, try this prompt out. I got 530 prompts that are in the course that I can share to sell the course, which is great. So now we have training video ideas, tech stack, transitioning. Okay, cool. Now I can go through and say, now make a prompt detailed, or actually let's do now make the content outline and info for each one. Start with the first one. I'm going to start with the first one. That way I get, oh, hey, I like this or I don't like it. Okay? So we'll start with the first one. So that would be the Premium Trainer Tech Stack. What do you need? And then I can throw that into Notebook LM. I can get a video. Now, if you want to do this like a pro, I would suggest make the videos yourself. I mean, making them myself, I can show things on screen. I could say, oh, hey, here's where you would promote a press release for your new gym or something like that. It's going to be easier. However, if you don't want to do that, you can do these with Manus, or you can hire someone to do them. But again, I mean, it's not super hard to do. You could do a voiceover with 11 Labs. It's not that detailed. You just have to go through and be willing to do it. It does take a lot of work, but hey, at the end of the day, I'll have something that I can sell evergreen. Like going through, yes, I had to do a 4 or 5 hour webinar for some of these. That was grueling. Luckily, I made some good money on the webinar. But then at the end, now I have something that I package into a dashboard that I could sell evergreen over and over and over again, which is what I'm really after. That's the gold there. So now this will go through and do that. Let's see how our other one's doing. This was for executive summary. That did the product one. I think we already did that one. And then we made it with the logos and stuff. I think I had another one going here. Where was that? I think it had our video. Let's see. Generating video. So it's still doing the video. Here's one. So here's our training video, the Premium Trainer Tech Stack. So what I could do here is I could give this to Notebook LM. So we'll do this notebook here. New, create. All I'm going to give it is copied text. Boom, insert. And it should know what I need for a video overview. generate. Let's do explainer. Do those cool rocks. And then it should generate that for us. And now I can use that as part of the course as well, which is pretty cool. Okay. And then going through, I'll just, okay, now do the rest. And again, I could put those on my server and have it find all the links to those and everything. So it makes it really easy for you to do. But again, understanding like putting these on the server, having Manus understand all the files and everything, that's where the rubber meets the road, because now I will actually have the course stuff that I would use. How much would you sell the gym scale product for? So the gym scale one, if I was going to build that myself, which I am, we are going to build it for a student of mine. We build these all the time and sell them to students. Gym scale, I would probably go either like $197 to start, and then with a $27 a month or something on the back end, if I have the chops for it, like being able to update all these prompts and have a call where we can help people, that would definitely justify the $27 a month. And, you know, 27 bucks a month, that's what, $300 a year, a little bit more than $300 a year on the back end, and that could be recurring. So probably a hybrid of that, or maybe $97 a month or something like that if I wanted to just go for that. But I would go either $197 or $297 on the front end, okay? But yeah, now we can go through and it's like, okay, now I have something we can use. And what we want to look for is something that can get them a quick win, maybe a prompt that would get them a press release and maybe get them some traffic, or something that'll generate an ad for them, something that'll make an email they can use, something that will get them, hey, try this out. Because once they try something out and it works, they're going to be hooked and they'll be coming back for a long time. That's what we want to do, and that's what we want to build. We want to build things that are good, fact check them, make sure they're good. Now look, we got 44 video outlines. Boom, we're ready to go. And now we just keep building. When you spend time on this, one, make sure you watch the video I did yesterday about proving your concept. And then once you prove your concept and you're like, yeah, people will actually buy this. Like, I know if I have a good product and I market it well, I should be able to do good with it in the gym training niche. Like, that's not really one I have a question about. Some of them where you're like, oh, well, maybe I have one about how to make birthday cards from scratch. Yeah, maybe that'll take a little bit of work. Maybe people won't want to pay for it. But again, test it out and try it before you do all the work building it out. But going through here and getting that data, understanding that AI will find it. Like, here's our time mastery one. I mean, look at that. It goes through. Here's our productivity dashboard. Pretty cool. Now I can take this. Okay, let's do HTML, please, not React. And then I can go through and have Manus organize it even better, right? Because once I have this, okay, here's my format. Now I go to Manus and I could say, let's see here, new task, look at all the files here and rework this dashboard to utilize them. Okay, there's that. And then we'll give it the dashboard. Okay, so here's our non-React one. Okay, that's the fit one. Do we have our other one? Index directory, time mastery, there we go. So code, boom, there's what it looks like. And then I'm gonna keep all these and we'll put this in here and it'll actually read all those files and put them in there, and boom, now I have something that is organized in a good way. This will help you organize your courses if you don't know like what that would look like. Like, okay, how would it look if I'm gonna have someone clean their own pool? Okay, well, first they need to get the chemicals, then they need to learn safety, then they need to learn how to skim it and check the pump and whatever. Going through, that'll actually outline it. So going through, packaging is everything. Once you have it packaged and on your server, now it's time to go through and make it more robust. Add those videos. Add the ability to have it run it in Gemini or whatever AI you're using. Build and grow from there, and then package it in that dashboard. And then you can add a button. Now let's make a pop-up reader that reads HTML or let's do txt files, and runs them as a prompt using Gemini API. And then I'll go through it. I'll have a button that's like, oh, choose your file, boom, run it as a prompt. Now I can generate my fitness email or whatever, right? That's where this really starts to get powerful. And that's where you want to think about, like, how can I make this the most helpful thing on the planet for these people? How can I go through and really, really focus on helping people, understanding what they want, understanding how to build it, understanding what would make that build and grow. Let's see how we're doing on this one. It's going through and doing our stuff there. This one's building the dashboard, read the rest of the PDFs. So it's going to understand everything and map it all out. That's what we want. We want this map to where we can build something doable. It's like writing a book. If you're going to write a book, you don't just start writing. You're like, okay, what's chapter 1 going to be like? What's it look like before, right? You don't just start. You need to know what's the beginning, what's the end going to be like, what's it going to be about, what will the cover look like, what's going to happen to the characters, or if it's a learning book, what is the flow going to look like, what's chapter 1, right? You don't want to go through and be like, okay, if you want to get better at jogging, chapter 1, find the right shoes. Chapter 2, good job, right? No, you want to go through and you want to be like, chapter 2 is how to put a foot in front of the other and how to run and how to do that. What will happen is this is going to go through and it's going to give you that outline. Understanding that the outline is everything, anything else can be filled in. We need to have that outline. We need to have that structure of what is all this going to do? Could I go through and say, hey, maybe you type in what you struggle with procrastination, and it gives you a new thing to try every day, right? Understanding where all this fits. Like if I was making one for working out, okay, maybe input the stuff you have. Now it gets the workouts. Check the ones you have. Maybe you can make it interactive. Understanding that with AI, you could literally make whatever you want. We might as well make really good stuff because that's going to have a better chance of selling. And by really good, it could be simple. It doesn't have to be something ridiculously difficult. It could be something very simple. Understanding that all we're doing is dumping all those files there. We're finding stuff, importing it, understanding it, having Manus go through, look at it, dissect it, say, what makes sense of all this? And when it makes sense of it, that's when other people are going to make sense of it as well. Now it's going through and doing the gym scale productivity library, and it'll actually make that outline based on the content we have already. Super important. And you see, like, okay, now you have all these different types of time management and planning. Great, I can expand on that. I can go through, I can make images, videos, information, interesting stuff, emails, social media content. All of that is going to promote this one thing. What we need to do to make this work is be very one-track focused. I am building this thing, I'm promoting this thing, that's all I'm doing. Till I get my sales, I'm not gonna go to the next thing. I'm gonna make this work no matter what. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna find customers who would get benefit from it because I know it's beneficial. I know it's going to help them because I did the work. A lot of people don't teach you this work. They teach you, oh, here's how to have fun with AI and everything like that. And it is fun and it's cool, but this is where you go if you really want to build something, a digital product that works. So hopefully you enjoyed this training. Again, if you want to get caught up with AI, we have that class over at joinmarkets.com. You can learn all about how files work, safety of files, what to do, what not to do. All of that kind of stuff is super important. Always make ethical stuff, good stuff. Don't plagiarize, don't copy, don't make anything weird. Focus on creating good stuff. It's not super difficult to do. It's just something you need to do the work. You need to put in those hours and understand how everything fits. Understand your market. One of the side effects to doing this versus just selling some PLR, one, if you just sell PLR, everyone has the same PLR. They're all going to sell it. Welcome to competition land. However, and you're not going to understand it, but if I go through and I do all this work, at the end of a week, 2 weeks, or maybe even a month, if I'm slower at it, I'm going to understand my market light years ahead of most people in the market. And if you understand your market, that is the first step to being able to sell stuff and create things that your market wants. So going through building this out, again, remember, it's about getting those file structures, having it understand that, hey, this is the stuff I'm doing, whether it's PLR, whether it's things you create, whether it's a bunch of prompts or different stuff like that, you can throw them in and create something valuable. Like maybe you buy a pack of 10,000 prompts that businesses use with the rights to sell them. Okay, what if I dissect just the ones that I want, the ones that do a specific thing? That's where Manus will go through and read those files for you and start creating things and make those dashboards and make cool things that people will use. So if you want to learn more, check out joinmarcus.com, smash that like button. We have that class on Saturday. Definitely want to check that out. Check out the videos in the description, and we'll see you in the next